And Jason, firstly, obviously transfer deadline day. Want to get stuff in transfer-wise. Not much business going on at Liverpool. No?
No.
Okay, we'll start with that then. How do you feel about the January transfer window?
I don't agree with it. I think, why has everyone gone really quiet here? Have we launched the space shuttle? Has it been launched? I don't like it. I think all the business should be done beginning of the season. I think you should go with what you've got. You know, everyone's talking about, oh, it's great, you know, Chelsea bring Corrado in and City are doing this and Man United are going to do that. It's like, you know, it's no interest. It's just them flexing the muscles with the checkbook and being able to go into the market and buy what they want because the summer signings haven't been a success. You know, I think it should be down to management, the team. It should be down to the players then, you know, to go a full season with the squad. The manager should have to manage his squad and his players to a point of winning the league, and I don't think they should be given the opportunity to go back into the market. I think it inflates prices. I think clubs hold each other to ransom, and I think agents just get greedier. I think agents just look at it as a window that they can make as much money as they can, and you know, and I just think it's wrong.
Well, I feel like Liverpool have got that in mind. I mean, there's not a lot of value in the market, so they're not doing a lot this January. They've not done anything.
I know, and on the flip side of it, what I'm going to say here sounds a little bit hypocritical, but Liverpool have been brilliant in this kind of window over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
they brought Sturridge in, Coutinho, and Luis Suarez from Ajax. They brought in this window, and so Torres has been They got Torres out, didn't they? To Chelsea, you know, he went to Chelsea in this window, and
made a lot of money.
Yeah, they made a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not to say that you know that's right or wrong. I think it's wrong. I don't think they should have this window. But sorry, what was your question?
Fair enough. No, that's all right. The main transfer story then with them today is them trying to work on signing Danny Ings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's too much in that. To be fair, Burnley seems to be playing that. Real Sociedad have all of a sudden come into the running. You know, Danny's he's a good player. He's a great striker. And no disrespect to Danny, I think he's doing a fantastic job at Burnley, but I don't know whether, you know, when you sign for a club like Liverpool, a top club, the amount of pressure that comes with it doesn't give you the guarantee of goals. You know, I'd like to see this is no disrespect to Danny, I'd like to see a more finished article come to the club. A player who's, you know, international quality, a player that has been around, knows the pressure of playing for a big club. And yeah, it's obviously going to cost Liverpool a bit more money. I think as potential goes, I think for Liverpool, I think Danny Ings would be a great buy, but he's not a player I would look at where I'd want to throw him straight in.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and Liverpool at the minute are flying, aren't they? I think the market's quiet with Liverpool at the minute because of the form that they're in, because of what they're doing.
They've hit it at the right time, definitely.
They've hit it at the right time.
Yeah. Another player that they've been. Speculations around today is Rickie Lambert on either a loan or permanent to Aston Villa or other teams as well. How do you feel about that deal? I mean, he's only had 6 months here. I
find it strange, really, because Rickie was brought in always to play second fiddle to the players that were going to make Sturridge, Coutinho, Sterling,
Suarez as well at the time.
And at the time, Suarez, and you know, Rickie was always Plan B, a player that was never going to play week in, week out, a player that was always going to come on. You know, playing cup games, come on if Liverpool are under the cosh. Maybe if Brendan wants to change his tactics, go more direct. I think he was then probably going to be the option. Why has that all of a sudden changed? You know, he still is Plan B. He still is the player to come off the bench and change it. He's still, you know, going to give you something. He's a Liverpool fan. He's great in and around the place. He's a great lad to have around. I don't really see it making sense. I understand why people would want him. You'd look at who's available, who you think is available, who you think you could bring in and enhance your clubs, and that's obviously teams who need goals. So Villa, yeah, I understand. But as far as I was concerned, if Brendan said he's not for sale, I totally understand why.
No, fair enough. He's a perfect backup there for him, and as you said, Plan B. Yeah,
and plus Balotelli's not worked.
Yeah,
I'd get him out.
Right, sure. Oh, I was going to get onto that.
Yeah,
Balotelli. So you just get rid of him.
I'd get him out. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think he offers anything to the way Liverpool play. I don't think he offers anything to the dressing room, and I just don't think he's suitable. And I think for him, I think he needs to move. I think he needs to go somewhere where he's going to be able to play the way he wants to play, because he's finding it difficult to change. He's finding it difficult to adapt. I don't think he's the kind of player who can adapt, who can change. He is what he is, and that's no criticism of him. That's the way he plays as centre forward. You know, Rickie Lambert plays in a different way.
They knew what they were signing.
They did, and I think Brendan thought there was enough quality there to change him.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked.
Yeah, no.
So.
Fair enough. Well, other outgoings. Today there hasn't been a lot, obviously, but there have been a couple of loans on the way out, and more coming, hopefully. Shea Oger, Lloyd Jones, and Ryan McLaughlin are the main three. How do you feel about that? Would you rather they go out on loan to develop, or stay at the club and maybe get a chance? I mean, Oger's been on the bench.
Well, I think if you're looking at young players coming through, I think Jordan Rossiter is obviously knocking on the door, isn't he? He's featured in cup games and on the bench. Jordan Ibe now has come back, and I think Jordan Ibe really shows you what can happen when you go out on loan. I thought he was fantastic at Derby. I think you learn a lot when you go on loan in the Championship. It's more physical. It's the games Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. You learn a lot when you're away from the club. I think it makes you hungrier as well.
Right, sure.
And I was surprised when he went on loan. I felt he was ready towards the back end of last season.
Yeah, definitely.
But, obviously Brendan felt he wasn't going to be able to get him into the team. And in some ways, with what's happened with the club at the beginning of the season, in some ways it was probably good not to throw him in, maybe get him out on loan like he did. And now he's brought him back. He was exciting when he come on the weekend.
Yeah, he fit in perfectly. I think he's a perfect impact player at the moment. I mean, he's not going to start all games.
So hopefully he will have the Sterling progression, get into the team, get a few more games under his belt, and hopefully he will stay in there.
Okay, sure. All right, we're going to move on to form this season, players like that. Simon Mignolet's position in the squad was under debate before the transfer window, when he went out of the team and came back in.
Outstanding,
So he's come in and he's improved. Do you think that's enough for next season? Is he going to stay beyond the summer as number one, or do you think they're going to improve on it?
I certainly think Liverpool will stay in the market for a keeper. His performances have risen in quality since he was taken out of the team. I think it was, we've seen it with Joe Hart last season or the season before, wasn't it, where he was taken out of the team, and all of a sudden I think it was a kick up the backside for Joe. I think he realised that he's not a player that is first on the team sheet. He can be dropped, and it done him the world of good. He come back a different player, didn't he, with a better attitude. And I think the same as happened with Simon Mignolet. I think as well, some of the criticism was unfair for Simon in the fact that I think the whole back four at the time was certainly not helping him.
Definitely.
And they were leaking goals, and he was left exposed too many times. And I think he'd become a bit of a target, really. And he was a soft target, and his confidence was rocked, and his performances showed that.
Well, he's quite a quiet guy.
He is.
I don't think it's going to help him.
Which is strange for the keeper.
Yeah.
They're usually outgoing characters, aren't they? And a bit flamboyant and a bit outspoken. But he's certainly not in that bracket. He's quite a quiet lad, as you say. So, his confidence was knocked with what was happening. But he seems to have come back. And I think the back three certainly helped him.
Yeah.
I think the way they played, the form, and when you're winning games, you always look a better player anyway, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in terms of the defence then in front of him, where he was struggling, Dejan Lovren, he's now on the outside looking in with Mamadou Sakho out. Now he's come back from injury, he's still on the sidelines. Do you think he's got a chance of breaking back in?
I certainly do, yeah. I think it's healthy to have competition for places. He's a quality player. He knows what he's doing. He was introduced into a Liverpool team that was struggling, and he found it difficult to adapt and a little bit difficult to cope. I think, Steven Gerrard as well, playing in a holding midfielder where he ended up dropping deeper because there was no pace. The pitch wasn't getting stretched ahead of him. So everything was condensed, and I think that meant that Steven was dropping a lot deeper. In the end, he was dropping behind some of the back two,
it didn't work.
behind Lovren sometimes, or even alongside him to pick up the ball. And I think Lovren wasn't too happy with that. And then there was a formation change, and then Lovren found himself out of the team. And to be fair, the lads who have got the shirt and played in that position have actually held on to it. Like you say, Sakho's been outstanding since he's come into the team. He's grown in confidence. I think then Scale, I think he was ever present anyway. He's given his 100% as well. But I think Emre Can's is probably a big plus point. It was always difficult to sort of assess his quality in that position when he first got in the team, because, and no disrespect to Burnley and teams like that, he never really come under a great test, really. Then he did with Chelsea. Costa gave him the run around, and I think we've seen at the weekend Andy Carroll playing alongside him. He doesn't want a physical battle. He wants to keep the ball at his feet, coming out with it. And in the end, Brendan changed him to the central player of the three, and he looked very capable of doing that as well. So So yeah, it's all working for Brendan at the minute. He's found a formation, he's found a way of playing, and it's all going well.
Yeah, sure. Another factor in that is wing backs as well in this new formation.
Yeah, I'm big.
You used to
big
play
fan.
wing back, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the wing backs. I think it's an important position. I think you have to know how to play it. I think as well. I think you need players behind you who can who help you. So obviously I had Mark Wright behind me and John Scales at times, and they were very, very good centre halves. And I enjoyed that position. It's a position you can get forward. You don't have to defend all the time because you've got the player behind you, the security, the comfort blanket of the centre half behind you. But it's a position I like, and I like to see it back at Liverpool. It's one I'm
really
happy with.
Working, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll finish up then with your work with 5 Times. You're going on tour to America this summer.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing Steven Gerrard out there.
Yeah, it falls in great really. Our tour to America falls in with the fact that Steven Gerrard will be at the Galaxy, and we'll bump into him in LA when we do our thing. We've just come back from Australia doing the tour, and it went fantastically well. And we're doing 4 venues in America. We're looking forward to it. Robbie's in good form. Didier man, got some great stories, and it's a great show. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, thank you very much, Jason.
Brilliant. I enjoyed that. Thank you.